Did you get an email from the Maryland State Police explaining new laws?
Another year, another email. Stay tuned. We're going to discuss the potential impact on our viewers.
I'm Duane Urban, and welcome to the Urban Defense Podcast, featuring discussion on firearms, concealed carry, self-defense, the law, and much more. Designed to inform, educate, and increase your survival in a critical incident. With your hosts, Duane Urban and Andrew Saller.
Welcome to the Urban Defense Podcast, and in today's abbreviated episode, we're going to be talking about the email that many of you received from the Maryland State Police. This email is required by law, and they will send it out after the session explaining the impact of certain firearms-related laws or changes to laws, and these emails are going to go out to people that they have on file. These are going to be people that have done firearms transfers recently or in the past and are in their system, whether as a transferor, a seller, a receiver, whatever. You're in their system.
Carry permit holder.
There you go. You're going to, HQL person, you're going to get one of these emails.
And don't get too excited. You're going to get a duplicate of the email before the laws actually go into effect on October 1st of the year of our Lord, 2025.
Okay, so let's get into it. This first bill is House Bill 176, which was cross-filed as Senate Bill 26, Davis-Martinez Public Employee Safety Health Act. Essentially, this deals with the Department of Labor here in Maryland, and it further defines workplace violence. And it says workplace violence includes, regardless of whether the employee is physically or psychologically injured, using or threatening to use physical force against an employee, or an incident involving the use or threatening the use of a firearm or other dangerous weapon. Andrew.
This bill really is mainly for actuarial purposes when evaluating workplace violence and things of that nature. There are no criminal penalties associated with this. We already have bills that would apply, laws that would apply if you actually committed workplace violence, brandished a firearm, committed an assault in any degree, things of that nature. So to our average viewer, this will have no effect on your life whatsoever.
Okay, moving right along, House Bill 179, cross-filed Senate Bill 11, Organized Retail Theft Act of 2025. This bill establishes the offense of, quote, organized retail theft. Examples of this would be these flash mobs or organized groups of individuals or gangs that go into places like a Home Depot, a Lowe's, a JCPenney's, whatever, and steal loads and loads of stuff from them, sometimes in the amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. This establishes the offense of organized retail crime, and it adds in it the use of a firearm in the commission of one of these crimes. Andrew.
This bill, once again, will probably have zero effect upon our viewers unless they're the owner of a retail establishment that is the unfortunate victim of one of these rings.
Or they're a organized retail theft member.
Yes, and if you are an organized retail theft member, come at us in the comments and talk about your experiences. In this bill here, the main thing that's occurring is that if they are using a firearm while committing these felonies, not necessarily a robbery, but if they just had a firearm on them and they are convicted of that offense, this would, at sentencing, at the request of the state's attorney, the file be marked they were participating in an organized retail theft ring. It does not increase the penalties. It does not change any penalties. This is also, once again, mainly for actuarial purposes, statistical purposes, recording purposes, and unless, once again, you are one of our viewers who is an active member of an organized retail theft ring, this will not affect you whatsoever.
All right, moving right along, House Bill 413, Controlled Dangerous Substances and Firearms, essentially modifying certain things under the law, such as penalties and crime classifications for specific firearms offenses. Most specifically, it changes from misdemeanor to felony any person who violates the subsection of the law that talks to purchasing, selling, transferring, receiving non-serialized firearms and unfinished frames or receivers. Andrew.
In the continuing efforts to combat ghost guns, combat the parts associated with ghost guns, They have recategorized the offense from a misdemeanor to a felony. Otherwise, everything remains the same. And as long as you are purchasing firearms from a FFL in lawful conditions, this bill will not affect you whatsoever.
And not manufacturing for sale or manufacturing it, well, not at all, but not manufacturing for sale these 80% guns.
Correct. So if you're out there using 80% lowers, manufacturing them, and then selling them, you're committing a crime, and it now will be a felony in the state of Maryland.
Okay, and the last one on the list, Senate Bill 443, Trafficking Regulated Firearms Felony Classification. This bill changes from a misdemeanor to a felony the prohibition against transporting a regulated firearm into the state of Maryland for the purpose of unlawfully selling or trafficking the regulated firearm. Andrew.
If you are a gun runner and you are coming to Maryland, it is now a felony when they catch you gun running. I do not believe the vast majority of our viewers are going to be affected by this one iota.
So this would be a person or persons who are bringing guns into this state and then unlawfully transferring them, whether it be they're not doing it through the state police, they're not a FFL dealer, or they're selling stolen or otherwise illegal firearms.
The whole purpose of them coming into the state would be to sell it, yes. So it's a bigger problem, particularly in Texas and Arizona and the border areas. But firearms coming from out of state, they're sold to cartels. We all remember Fast and Furious, things of that nature. That is what this is designed to combat. I am certain it occurs in Maryland, but I would not imagine we are one of the larger markets for it.
Okay, so not really a huge impact on most of our viewers.
You're right, Duane. Not a major impact this year. The legislature was mainly focused on taxes, but there's always next year. So stay vigilant, stay in touch, and remember to vote.
So for the Urban Defense Podcast, remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And also remember that knowledge is mental ammunition. Train, fight, and win.